Join me while I work my way even further into the Amazon. More stuff goes wrong, and I'm forced off of the road and into the jungle, in one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. My leg isn't looking too great today after the crash yesterday, but at least I got it cleaned up and hopefully it won't get infected. In the morning, I went to check out the market in Capacchiato. The first thing I saw was a cooler full of pacus and Boca Chico. I needed a coca refill too, so I stopped by this little stand and bought a bag of coca leaves and yipta for 30 cents each. That'll help me when I start getting high up into the mountains again. Interesting little faucet running here in the middle of town. Any bets on if it's safe to drink? I saw a bridge off in the distance and I wanted to see what was on the other side of the bridge. This will probably be my only day in Capacchiato, so I wanted to explore a little bit. I found some interesting plants and flowers along the way. This little fruit looks like a baby watermelon. I wonder if it's pink on the inside. This particular part of Peru alongside the Capacchiato River is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. It's due to the steep drop from the Andes Mountains down to the Amazon jungle, creating many microclimates. The biodiversity is very noticeable. There's a huge range of exotic plants and animals around every turn. No, you don't count. Yeah, you. I'm not talking about you when I mention biodiversity. I made it to the bridge. The bridge crosses the Capacchiato River and leads to the Shima indigenous community. The Shimas are a tribe that speak the Matsi-Henka native language. There are only 60 Matsi-Henka tribes in the entire Amazon and only an estimated 6,000 speakers of the Matsi-Henka language in the entire world. Up until recently, the Matsi-Henkas subsisted on mainly wild boar and monkey meat for their protein. But with the growing contact from the outside world, they've shifted to more of a fish-heavy diet. I of course went to check out the village. The Shima village was comprised of about 30 wooden houses that were all clumped together on the side of the mountain. The road I've been riding on for the past few days connects this village in Capacchiato to the rest of Peru. It wasn't completed until 2010, so these villages had had very little contact with the outside world up until about 16 years ago. This is the Capacchiato River that eventually feeds into the Amazon. It's an interesting grayish-blue color. It gets this color from the tiny rock particles carried down from the high Andes Mountains. The river is filled with piranhas, caiman, and armored catfish. The jungle alongside the river has even more wildlife, including jaguars, sloths, poison dart frogs, and a whole bunch of species of monkeys. Hopefully I'll get to see some of those animals I mentioned in the days ahead. Speaking of animals, this is the tastiest food I've found in the entire Amazon. This jungle rodent called a paca is the best meat you'll ever taste in your entire life. I'm not exaggerating. It's served with a glass of fermented corn. Another sunset in the beautiful Amazon jungle. Tomorrow I'll make my way even deeper into the Amazon. In the morning I was back to riding. I was trying my best to avoid letting my toe get infected, so I wrapped it up tightly with medical tape. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep the dirt and grime out. This part of the route is sparsely populated. I only pass about one house every mile or two. I don't think the guinea fowls have ever seen a bike before. They went running off in fear as I rode past them. The ride today started out perfect. No tough hills to climb. There was enough cloud coverage to keep the temperature manageable, and not much traffic yet either. This was all about to change though. I was just trying to get a shot that would show the dense foliage around me. Not today, buddy. My drone yeeted itself off the side of this ravine. Now I've got to go on a drone hunt and try to find where she went down. My action camera was dead, so I had to hook it up to a portable charger while I search. Riding a fully loaded touring bike while piloting a drone at the same time is not the easiest thing to do. Accidents happen. This ravine is very steep, and it's not going to be easy to get down to where I think the drone may have crashed. The mountain's covered in thick vegetation, which makes finding this drone a lot harder. This thick plant coverage makes the rescue mission a lot more dangerous because I can't see what's lurking inside of these plants. Hopefully there aren't any snakes or tarantulas creeping in there. Stepping on one of those would probably ruin my day. Also hoping none of these plants are poisonous. If the drone crashed and fell in these viney plants, it's going to be impossible to find it, because it'll be completely covered over by the leaves. This is the second time in the last week that I crashed my drone. I might be losing my touch. I think it crashed into this tree, so it should be around here somewhere. The search has proven to be a lot tougher than I expected. It could be literally anywhere. And I don't know how far down the ravine my drone went tumbling. But I can't give up. I have to find this drone one way or another. I thought it'd be easy to see the flashing lights on the drone and be able to find it in a cinch. But that's proving to not be the case. I'm gonna head back and grab the remote control. Hopefully that'll help me track my drone down before a monkey finds it and runs off with it. This is what I have to go off of. This is the screen my remote control shows me. It looks like it's on the ground and not up in a tree. At least that's some type of a hint to go off of. Back down the ravine we go. Only this time with some extra tech. The town of Capasciato that I just left this morning has gone through some tough times. It was the site of a hostage event in 2012. The Shining Path guerrilla group kidnapped around 40 civilians that were working on a gas project in the area and held them hostage. They demanded $10 million in ransom to return the hostages. Peru responded by sending in their military. This region's gone through some turbulent times in the last 16 years since this stretch of the road was completed. And it shows in the local population. I've seen firsthand the distrust and suspicion that clouds the population here. It's something that I haven't seen in any other part of Peru. I've been asked by some of the locals in a very straightforward manner, "What are you doing here?" Or "Why are you here?" Well, if they saw me now on the side of this ravine holding a selfie stick and looking for my drone, I'm sure they'd be asking themselves those very same questions. Yes, I finally found it. Underneath this tree, I was able to spot the gray body of the drone. The rescue mission was a success. Upon first glance, it doesn't look like the drone took any heavy damages, but I'll have to check it out more thoroughly later. Now, I gotta climb back out of this ravine. Let's hope there aren't any more incidents today. First day riding after the crash, and my body's holding up pretty well. The shoulder still burns, and I feel it in my knee when I'm pedaling, but for the most part it doesn't affect my riding too much. I reached the bottom of this hill and made it to a bridge crossing the Capasciato River. This bridge lies at the border between the Cumpiriciato and Echarate districts. Adios, Cumpiriciato. I had a huge hill to pedal up before reaching my next stop. I stopped a bunch of times and just laid down in the dirt to rest. I was exhausted. After reaching the top, I had a blazing fast downhill. This was giving me flashbacks to the incident. At least this road was in a much better condition than the last road. Fingers crossed that there won't be any more accidents. There aren't many things in this world that give me an adrenaline spike like when I'm riding down a massive downhill. The feeling's indescribable. I made it to the small Amazonian town of Kiteni. I'll use Kiteni as home base for a few days while I attempt to reach a fabled site that'll take me even further into the jungle. It's a legendary place that few have ever set their eyes on. Subscribe to catch my next adventure.